Hey everyone, welcome back to Christopher's Models and Dioramas. In the last video I told you how I was going to teach you how to save money by using, instead of rubber molds to make your cliff face and boulders and large rocks with, you can save a little bit of money and add a little bit more of your own creative input to the process. What I like to use is molding clay. Now, it's the type of clay that doesn't dry out. Now, you can use it to mold and make impressions of things into it, then pour plaster into it. Some people actually use it for resin, epoxy resins to make jewelry or whatever. But I like to use it for this particular reason and this particular reason only. It adds a little bit more of you into your build because you can not only use everyday things like rocks and that you find out in your yard, or you go to a mineral store or a place where you can buy, quartz crystals and stuff like that. Or if you just so happen to live like where I do, there's an abundant supply of this stuff. Everyone's got some laying around, along with fossilized trees, bark that you can use to do it with. Now, what I like to do is use quartz crystal. Why I like to use quartz crystal is because it's one of my favorites. I have a couple of other randoms, like this. This is just some run-of-the-mill, everyday, uh, you know, garbage rock, I call it. It's not anything fancy, but it has all these different textures that I can use to press it into the clay to make what I want done. Now, with fossilized wood, I like it because it always has these interesting ridges in it and texture that you can take and apply to it and enhance certain areas that you want. And it comes in different chunks and different sizes that you can do that with as well. Now, quartz is really cool. I mean, because of the way it works. It just breaks up in these really interesting shapes. Hardly no two are the same. And you can take and turn it one way and you get something with like a ridge in it. Or you can press it in flat and then you still get this interesting looking cliff texture on it. My favorite type of bark to use is always cedar or pine because of this multi-layered look that you can get out of it when you press it into your clay and let it sit. The type of plaster I use is a 75% craft plaster with 25% plaster of Paris that's used for construction. The construction plaster adds strength and durability to the mold itself, to the plaster. And when you take it out, you can pretty much just pry it loose. I've already done some of that. And you always get these really cool look when you're done. And that's some of it that you can go back and using your sculpting tools that you can get at any hardware store. If you want to later on after this dries, you can go back and add to and highlight certain areas from your build. Now, don't expect miracles when you take this stuff out because it's going to crumble, it's going to chip, it's going to break. And using the quartz, you can come up with really cool details like this really nice striation part here along the edge that has just this wonderful, wonderful look about it. And you can do that with all of it when you're done. But when it comes to using tree bark, this is where it gets kind of tricky because you don't want to press too hard. You'll break your tree bark up and sometimes it'll get stuck in here and it'll come in with the plaster itself. But when you take it out, you get this really nice look that lifts up, enhances, and looks really great when it's done. Now, if it falls apart because it's thin, don't worry about it because you can always make a little extra plaster to piece it back together. And another thing I like about this is that you clean it all out, wrap it up in your plastic, or because I've got a nice cool area that I don't need to worry about it drying out and becoming crumbly on me, too dried out and too crumbly. I can slide it back in here, close it up, put it in the shell. Now, another trick you can do is these little tins like this. Some people will take and put aluminum foil in the bottom of this, but I add a little depth to it. But you mix your plaster just like you would any other time. And you take it out. It's easy. You don't have to do anything fancy to get the stuff out. Just use your thumbs, pop it out, squeeze it out like that. Now, once you got your rocks picked out, different ones. This is another one I used. I like this one because the top has this really nice jagged edge to it, like looking like some of the sides of Devil's Tower in Wyoming. Get the stuff set to the side over here. Save this little stuff that comes out like this from it. You could always use that later. Just kind of grind it back up and mix it in with your plaster with it. But once you get this out and you get something like this, you can take your sculpting tool, go along and edge it the way you want to edge it. Like there's nice edges right through here. Add your own individual looks to it. It's not difficult to do. Now, don't be afraid to look too uniform with it. And you can do that all the way along here. You don't have to worry about perfect. Just let nature take its course with your hands. Everyone has a natural shake to it. Use other sculpting tools. I don't remember where I got these sculpting tools, but at a mom and pop place. Now, the neat thing about this, you want to get this out of here before it sets up too hard when it's kind of moist. And there you go. See, with just a little bit of effort, you can work that up. And later, if you want to, with this just like it is, you can take and add this to it, along with that, plaster them into place. And if you want to add a figure up here in between them, you can mix and match it, and turn it however you want. This can be done with any type of setting, terrain, military, non-military, nature, model railroader. You can take and add it to the edge of a cliff like this, and mold that on there to run your train track across the top of it. Put a vehicle up here, or like in my case, if you want to, put your deer up here. And this holds on with using your run-of-the-mill everyday glue. This will stick it on here, or plaster, or use craft glue. And that's how you can save money instead of going out and buying an expensive amount of these rubber molds that will eventually dry and crack, and you'll have to go out and spend more money. That clay maybe cost me $10, and I could probably get 80, 90 different uses out of it for different molds. Might last me 2 or 3 years depending on how much I use it, but it'll save you a few bucks in the long run. The plaster I use, craft plaster and plaster of Paris from any kind of hardware store, just works just great. And this stuff takes to paint like there's no trouble to it at all. And it is an easy and efficient way to also make boulders, because as you take this out, you're going to have bits and pieces that break off, and you can go and resculpt these at your liking by just, chipping it off using your thumb like that. Simple reshaping. It doesn't have to look absolutely perfect or absolutely beautiful, because you're putting some of yourself into this. Here's a chunk that, here's a piece that came out of it, off the mold, and it has some of the tree bark to it. It's not all that great, but it's still easy to use. You can set it along the edge like that, stick it on there with a little bit of glue and paint it however you like. But that is one way you can save money on your boulders, cliff facing, large rocks, even a cliff face like this that you can take and reshape it down, break it, snap it however you want. In a later video, I'll show you how to do the painting on that, so that you can get a really great looking earth tone look to it. But until then, remember, If you're not getting a little bit messy while you're doing it, you're not having as much fun as you ought to. Remember to hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you like this video. In about 3 or 4 more days, I'm going to have a video about how taking this store-bought solid plastic from any kind of hobby and craft store to cleaning it up, doing a little reshaping, and painting it to get it a natural look. I'm going to go with a red deer or a common everyday deer you see. Look on this with a reddish brown and the traditional white with an antique look to it. But it won't take long. It'll take 2, maybe 3 videos to get that done. But in total, if you were to do it on your own time, it'd probably take you maybe an hour, maybe 2. Total time on making all this with the plaster, 30 minutes. Pressing it in, sculpting a little, adding extra detail into it, mixing the plaster the way I said, and pouring it in, letting it set. And 30 minutes later, give it a little squeeze and pop it out, and you're ready to go for your next coming project. Take care until next time, and hope you have a good coming weekend.